Hello friends, welcome to this online refresher course that is Concerns on Educational Research and Assessment and the ARPIT 2019. I am Dr. Gaurav Rao from Mahatma Jyotiba Phule Rohilkhand University, Bareilly. I extend my greetings to all of you on behalf of National Resource Center for Education, that is NRC for Education, Central University of South Bihar, Gaya. I'm here to discuss with you a very important and interesting tool of data collection, that is Focus Group Discussion Part 2. It is expected that after completing the session, you'll be able to know the different factors that affects the group discussion, the advantages and disadvantages of using focus group discussions as a tool, know the type, categories of questions in front of group discussion, know the length of focus group discussion, design your own questionnaire for focus group discussion, the techniques and strategies that you can use for a successful focus group discussion, and how to select a focus group discussion participants. Let us start. The teachers, in our earlier lecture, I discussed the history of the focus group discussion, what are the focus groups, how to identify the situations where we can use it, and we also came to know the various purposes of using focus group discussion. In continuation of it, let's discuss what are the advantages and disadvantages of using focus group discussions over the other data collection tool. The focus group discussions provides extremely rich and high quality data in comparison to the collective data collection methods like interview and participatory observation. It gives opportunity to the researcher to collect first-hand data collection substantiated by causes of data too. Newman 2012 enumerated the following advantages of using the focus group discussions over the other. That in the natural setting, it allows the people to express opinions freely. It opens the expression among members of marginalized social groups which is encouraged. People tend to feel empowered, especially in action-oriented research projects. Survey researchers are provided a window into how people talk about the survey topics, and the interpretations of the qualitative survey results is also facilitated by using the focus group discussions. Participants may query one another by explaining their answers to each other. But still, apart from advantages, there are some disadvantages, or rather we can say the limitations of FGDs. They are like, because it is a qualitative method, the data gathered is of less generalizability. The expression and opinions are contextual, hence may vary. Group of one context has one finding, whereas the persons of other context with the same idea can have the other answers. There can be some instances where the researcher biases may creep in. Participants, those who are dominant and expressive, curbs the expression of the introverts. Let us talk about the type and categories of questions that you can use in focus group discussion. To decide the question categories, you all need to decide the goals of the FGDs. On the basis of the goals, you can discuss about the questions. The questions are to be articulated clearly. The questions are to be asked in an arranged from more general to more specific. In other words, the most general and unstructured question should be placed early, and more specific questions should be placed at the end. This is to be taken into account that questions should be ranged from their relative importance to the research goal. Although it appears conflicting, but it is possible to establish research objectives starting with general questions about one particular topic to the specific questions about the theme, about the same topic, and then move back to another set of general questions. As the focus of group discussion is a social experience, the controversial questions are important to be created, but in an informal environment. The questions should be direct, forthright, comfortable and simple. Precautions is to be taken out that they are clear, brief and reasonable. Clarity does not mean short sentences or single syllable words. Clear questions are to be asked one-dimensional and without the jargons. You can start from the place what is known. What I actually prefer is doing a brainstorming session which can be often used to decide where to begin and to generate a variety of ideas for a final version of questions. So after the brainstorming discussion, the first draft of questions should be prepared as soon as possible. The questions of FGDs are used sequentially. Even questions has a distinct function. In general, there are 5 types of questions named as opening, introductory, transition, key and ending question. Let's talk about the opening question. Opening questions are asked to make the participants comfortable. For example, this can be done by sharing the feature that is common or ask something for which everyone can answer. The data of these questions are not analyzed. They're generally asked to develop sense of commonality in the group, and it also develops the community group. The next question can be the introductory questions, which are asked to introduce the topic of discussion and attract the members to share about the topic as per the experience. These questions nurture the conversations by enhancing the interaction among the participants. They are not to be analyzed critically. The next questions can be the transition questions, which are developed to develop the connections between the introductory questions and the key questions. Such questions broadens the horizon of thinking of participants of the topic. The next category is the key questions, which are the pivotal questions of the focus group discussion, which are developed by the mentor and the researchers and need highest attention. The in-depth analysis directs you to do a correct study. You as moderator must allow for sufficient multiple interaction for a longer time in the group for these questions. And the last ones are the end questions, which gives the participants an opportunity to ponder over the previous comments. These questions also culminate the discussion. They are also called the all things considered questions, summary questions or final questions. The moderator gives the short oral submission to the key questions that have led to the emerged idea as a summary. Some scientists have also categorized the questions in 3 groups, which can be probing questions, which are the introductory questions to the topics said or asked to elicit the reaction of the participants. The next category is the follow-up questions, which are those questions which provokes the participants to react more on the proposed topic. The last one is exit or culminating question, which are those questions which are asked to cross-check if something is missed out. Let us see an example. Opinion about B.Ed 2 years and B.Ed integrated 4-year program you want to know from the group. Probing questions can be: how familiar are you with the program? Which program is better according to you? Similarly, follow-up questions can be: what is the important aspect of the program you like the most? Which aspect of the program you like the most? And the exit questions can be: is there anything else you would like to say about the program? Let us now know how to create a questionnaire for focus group discussion. It is always advisable to construct questions wisely to draw true data in less time. Some points to remember while creating your question is to keep less number of questions so that the participants don't get confused. Keep the questions clear, direct and short. Sensitive issue questions are to be answered with greater care. Avoid questions which can be answered as yes or no. They may be how, why. That gives more opportunity to the participants to speak. Let us know the length of the focus group discussion. An FGD should be between 60 to 90 minutes. If it is less than 60, exploration of different aspects is not possible. And if it is more than 90, it starts becoming monotonous. Let us see some of the techniques and strategies for a successful focus group discussion. You as a researcher behave like moderator who ensures that participants are comfortable and are engaged in discussion. In doing so, you need to remain neutral to the opinions being shared so that the participants help on sharing the opinion. Any non-verbal clues must be avoided, like raising your eyebrows, head nodding, which might stop the participants to share. You also need to take care to probe into the participants, those who are not participating in the questions. Like, will you tell me something more? Or can you give me an example? There can be some dominating speakers of the group who need to be regulated by you so that others can also speak. If the participants come out with long expressions to summarize so that what exactly they wanted to say, you can essence them out. There can be some points in discussions where you might interrupt to elucidate any expression. Do that so an in-depth contextual findings may be observed. Let us know how to select the FGD participants. The researcher should consider the unique characteristic of specific research subjects and the settings in which they are located. In a sense, he or she should make the design more concrete by developing a sampling frame, that is, criteria for selecting sites and or subjects capable of answering the research questions, identifying specific sites or subjects and securing the participation in the survey study. As the qualitative researches rely upon the purposive sampling, hence we must select the individuals or the groups who are information rich. These information rich individuals or the groups or the organizations fetch greatest insight for the purpose of the research. Focus group discussion also takes purposive sampling strategy to gain insight and comprehensive understanding from the people about any idea. Purposive selection of focus group is also essential to fulfill the crucial objective that have been planned at the initial level. An appropriate group constitution results in generation of interactive discussions leading to useful data. Whereas on the other side, inappropriate constitution of the focus group will lead to non-contextual irrelevant conversation that will serve no purpose. Morgan in 1998 stressed that compatibility is the key concern in determining the composition of the focus group. He mentions that if participants perceive each other as fundamentally similar, they can spend less time explaining themselves to each other and more time discussing the issue on the hand. But if the participants are mixed, group can spend a good time to knowing each other and building trust before they feel enough to share personal information. In a focus group, we need to prefer homogeneity in group participants rather than heterogeneity in relation to the different traits of the participants to attain the exhaustive and quality data regarding a focused topic. The researcher may choose the participants according to gender, age, level of education, socioeconomic status, power and professional level, marital status or family composition, income race or ethnicity, location or residence to form the groups according to the research. Let us take an example for sample selection process for focused group of teachers in respect to compositions, homogeneity, characteristics of the participants, and the size of the participants. To do the selection, we need to do a population research to analyze the different subgroups that can be distinguished. This selection can be dependent upon the different personal and professional variables such as age, sex, experience, interest towards ICT, and educational innovations. From the information collected, some sample of teachers can be like group 1, teachers inclined towards ICT and educational innovation. Group 2 can be teachers less than of 30 years age and less than 5 years of professional experience. Another group can be male teachers with professional experience between 6 to 10 years. Another group can be teachers more than 30 years of age with low involvement in educational activities, and so on. Depending upon the characteristics, you can make many groups and have the discussion on the basis of the goal. After deciding the composition of groups, you can form the sizable subgroups who feel comfortable to share their feelings and opinions. Focus groups are homogeneous participants group of 8 to 10 people on an average to avoid making it a crowd and to have individual attention too. Proper care is to be taken to choose the members, variables like gender, age, hierarchy, social group, ethnic group, which helps to produce productive data. For example, will a mixed gender group be free, open enough to share about an issue? It might be possible that a middle-aged person talks about smoking in comparison to the young person. Will the person of different hierarchy of same institution be comfortable enough to share about the problems of the institution? Persons coming from different social groups may have different orientations towards a particular issue variable. Dear teachers, let's recap for this session. We came to know the different factors that affects the focus group discussion. We understood in which conditions the FGDs can be used as a tool. We came to know the different types or the categories of questions in focus group discussions. We also came to know the average length of focus group discussion. And we can now design our own questionnaire for it. We now know how to select the focus group and apply different techniques or strategies for a successful focus group discussion. This is all for this session. I hope you all have enjoyed this session. Thank you so much for watching. Namaskar.